Joining me today is James Kingsley, Senior Director of Product Development for MicroBuilder, and he is going to show you our awesome new product. So without further ado, Kingsley, I will let you take over.
Hi. As Stephanie mentioned, I'm James Kingsley. All my friends just call me Kingsley. And I've been with ELB off and on now, working closely with them for almost 12 years, something like that, since the very early days. And recently, well, like 4 years ago, I rejoined full time, dedicated to working on building creative, awesome products to help us, really step forward the e-learning development process for the industry. I've been outside of ELB, working in this industry for almost 20 years now. Before that, I used to teach instructional design for the military. So my passion is computers and programming. And then I have a lot of background in instructional design and instruction and e-learning development. So it's all made this magical combination where I got to help create this great product that we're going to talk about today. And if you're not familiar with ELB, you should check out their website. They have tons of things there, lots of solutions for e-learning development. It's not just templates anymore. I don't think that's our official slogan, but that's that's what I'm saying now.
That is definitely not our official slogan. Well, we're going to work on that for the next webinar.
Sorry, now I'm going to be in trouble. All right, so let me share a screen here. Let's see which one. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, ELB, and you may have seen the circle. I think actually my circle is a little out of date. We have a new updated circle. But this just helps demonstrate all the different areas that ELB can help with training, and not just e-learning solutions, but staff augmentation, et cetera. And so this product really focuses here in this section where it's an authoring tool, and then you can also include your gamification and virtual reality in there. So, about 4 years ago, we noticed that the learning curve for tools was getting longer and longer. Meanwhile, the desire to get training out quickly was really ramping up as well. And so these two things are at odds. Because on one hand, you have training that you need to get out today, and then you have to try to learn how to use some complicated tool with a bunch of menus. I was talking to someone the other day using a product, and they said that it took them like 5 minutes to find the menu item to publish to SCORM. And so that's a barrier that we wanted to overcome. Was that complexity overkill there. Also, we found that a lot of people needed to create their content in multiple languages for global audiences. And that whole process of trying to send out all your content, get it translated, and send it back in, and build 5 different versions of your course, and then how do you put all those different versions into your LMS and have them all track the same way? It was creating a lot of barriers there as well. And then shorter attention spans. So this is a quote from Dr. Mark from University of California, Irvine. And so they've been studying the attention spans of people, adults, and they've noticed that over time, the attention span is getting less and less. I mean, we're in that digital age, everybody knows the phone, oh, the phone disappeared. The phone, you look at it for a couple of seconds and then you move on to the next thing. We're all scrolling. And so we have to keep in mind that our learners are also facing this thing. They don't necessarily have the time or want to spend the time to like an hour to learn a new skill. A lot of times the training that we're pushing out is short. That's why microlearning has really come up in our industry. A lot more people are focused on microlearning. And all of this, time is money. Oops, I think I skipped. Oh, yeah. And so then Ray Hamez, who recently passed, some of the analysis he had done says that by doing microlearning, sorry, we can reduce the development cost by 50% and increase the speed of development by 300% by creating microlearnings instead of the longer traditional learnings. So we decided that we wanted to build, here's some possible candidates for microlearning. My guess is most of you are familiar with the concept of microlearning. And so basically we just want to create short nuggets of training, bite-sized info. And this is a couple of good candidates for that. So like skill reinforcement, compliance training, onboarding. Software updates is a big one because when a button changes, they move the button where it is, where is it now in the software? That's a great one to send out. Also, it's not on this list here, but I feel like customer support is another big one because when there's a change to a system or a process and you need to let your customer support team know about that right away, you don't want to spend a week trying to create a complex e-learning module. You want to be able to get that new training out there quickly. And also update any existing training you have, lickety-split. So our solution was to build a product that we've named MicroBuilder. And so it's very user-friendly. You'll see in a second, you can create a microlearning module very quickly in the software. It's very user-friendly. It's multimedia rich, so you can incorporate your images, videos, interactive games, scenario VR scenarios. It's hard to say that twice, scenario VR scenarios. And then we've included in there access to our asset library, which is, I think now it's like 260 million stock assets that are in that library, and that's included in MicroBuilder. And to help with that translation issue, we have AI-powered translation, which we'll take a look at here in a second, but it's really cool because we have a bunch of different languages. You click a button, boom, it automatically just translates your content, but not just your text, but also the closed caption for your videos. And we create a new voiceover track for your video in the other language as well, so that they can hear the video in Italian or Spanish or whatever languages you choose. We're also using a technique for our SCORM and XAPI that we're calling hosted SCORM. And the beauty of this is that if you have published your SCORM package and you go through all the hassle of uploading it to your LMS or maybe even multiple LMSs, and then you need to go back and change something in your course, perhaps add another language or update the instructions because the button has moved now. You don't have to publish it back to your LMS again. In our system, you can just hit publish in the system. It will automatically update it in your LMS or LMSs for you. So as I mentioned, it has the AI-powered translations, 71 languages, and it can transcribe and translate your videos for you too. I think I need to update this number here. I think it's 260 now. And then the closed captions, as I mentioned, we closed caption the videos for you. We can translate text to 71 languages. We do the voiceover in 29 different languages in there. So you could still have the translate closed captions in all 71 languages, but the voiceover only applies to 29. So let's get into a demo of it. I'm sure all of you have been playing with AI image generators. And so for some reason, I like to use the most ridiculous ones that it produces for these demos. So this one, I asked for a man with a laptop at a podium, but I don't know if you can tell on there, that laptop is like floating above the podium. It's not connected to anything, but I guess it's possible he's holding it with his other hand. So let me jump over to a demo here real quick. So this is a published MicroBuilder. Let me move some things around on the screen here. This is a published MicroBuilder module. Oof, another one, hard to say. And so this is one that one of our colleagues did here. I think it was Josh actually created here about email etiquette. And so I wanted to start off by showing you what it's going to look like for your learners on their end. And so you can see that Josh has added images here. There's lots of scroll things. There's lots of different font treatments in here, quotes, headers, and don't remember if he has any questions. Oh, screenshots in here as well. Oh yeah, here we go. And questions in here as well. Now, back up here at the top, you'll notice I have this globe icon. And so if I click that, we can see, oh, Josh also made this available for Spanish. If I click that, boom, it just changes the whole thing to Spanish for me, including the questions that we saw down there at the end. There we go, including the questions. Well, it did not do that question. Did that one. All right, so let's jump over and see how that is built. So this is the editing environment where an author would create a micro-learning module. And you can see that it really looks a lot like that published version that I was showing you. And that's intentional. We don't want you trying to guess what this is going to look like when it's published. We want it to keep this environment looking as close as possible to the published environment so that you know what's happening, you know what it's going to look like for your learner as you go through. So when I hover over something, see I have the little add block icon here, and I can click that and insert a block in between. I could put in an image. And this is where, as I mentioned, you have access to the asset library there. And so if I click that, I can go in and find some, I don't want to mess up Josh's course. I probably shouldn't be in here messing with his. I'll go create my own. How about that? Let's go create our own. Oh, and then also I wanted to share out, if you want to see one, and it's not very attractive, but I'm going to put in the chat a link to, oh, thanks, Stephanie. So I just put in the chat I think I put in the chat, maybe that only went to the host.
Oh yeah, you need to change your drop down to message everyone, not just hosted panelists.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, only I can see it, and I've already seen all these things.
Yes, yes. All right, so now I just put in the chat a link to a published MicroBuilder module. So let me pull that one up. I should show you how you get to MicroBuilder too. So if you have an ELB Studio account, this is where all your ELB products live inside our studio. And you can just click on MicroBuilder to launch it. We also have in there the Scenario VR, Training Arcade, Review Link, all these other cool things in there. And then once you click that, that brings you to our MicroBuilder homepage, your MicroBuilder homepage, where you'll see all your courses that are in there. And you have an option to preview them, download the SCORM or XAPI package, and also edit those. And so this is the one we were looking at there. Here we go. This is the one that I just sent you the link to in the chat. And you can see it's not very built out here yet. So we'll go through and we'll add a few things to this one. So one thing I wanted to point out was by default, we are just creating a thumbnail for this course based on what the title is here. So if I say that this was the 2024 demo and then click out, then that'll update over here as well. We can also simply click in to change our description of the module. We do have some built-in themes. We have in the works now the ability for you to create your own custom theme that will be rolled out soon. But we have these built-in themes that you can apply. Whoops, I accidentally clicked the wrong button. We have these built-in themes that you can apply. The philosopher one is kind of cool. And as I said, soon we will have the ability to just create your own theme as well. I did pre-record this video some time ago. You can see I was going through a strange phase where I decided to look like an old hipster or something. Since then, I've cut my hair and shaved. But I do want you to play with that because this particular course I have translated to Italian. And so if you can't hear it on through the webinar here, you can access it from that link.
Benvenuto nella corsia preferenziale di Microlearning nel campo dell'istruzione.
And so you get to hear me speaking Italian in there, and I don't speak Italian. So that's pretty cool that you can do that. We also have the closed caption, so you can have the closed caption in one language. Yes, Van Gogh, I like that. You can have the closed caption in English or Italian, and you'll see that we can do other languages as well in just a moment here. So as I was demonstrating, it's pretty straightforward to insert blocks in between these rows. So I can come in here and do image, and I get a choice if I want to upload a file from my local computer or if I want to use my camera. This is very cool on mobile because you could take pictures out in the field. So if you're in the warehouse, you see somebody has spilled something and you're trying to create some on-the-spot training about that. Also works for video as well. So you could do video as well. And then we have our asset library here. Let's see, we'll grab something. Let's see. Oops, see if I can spell. Micro. There's one in here that kind of freaks me out, so I've been using this one. This gentleman has a micro card slot in the side of his head. So you can insert an image in there, shrink it, grow it, and then add your closed caption, which helps with the accessibility, 508 compliance in there. Because the published product of this is just pretty much straight HTML and some JavaScript, Screen Readers do a great job with this content. So we have one question in here already, and I just wanted to demonstrate how easy it is to add questions. And so if I come in and say I'm going to add another question, so it defaulted to multiple choice, and so we could say here that this is correct. Wrong. And I don't know. And then it gave me a couple extra options. I'll just delete those. But one of the cool things about this is I can actually just switch it from multiple select to, or sorry, multiple choice to multiple select. And it will remember the responses that I had in there. If I have more than one selected and I go back to my multiple choice, it'll just assume that the first one I had selected is what the correct one is. And you can see that we also have the fill in the blank questions. Short answer, and let's see. Do you spell zoo? And then just add in there zoo. Now, you'll notice that when I'm on a question here, on the panel on the side here, I have some properties for this particular type of block that I'm in here. And so I could change the type of question it is here, or I could change it there. I can also, because this is a fill in the blank, I can say, is this case sensitive or not? And I could decide to include this in a quiz. And if I click that, then at the bottom, we'll automatically add a results block in there where the results of the quiz will be displayed in there. And so this is editable. You could say, try again. And the same is true of the past results. You can edit that. On the side, because I have the results block selected, I have the option to set the passing score and the number of attempts that the learner has to complete this quiz. I wanted to demonstrate real quick. So for, whoops, not arcade. Let me delete that. I wanted to do game. So if you have a training arcade account, then we can automatically fetch that for you and show you. So in my training arcade account, I only have one game that I've created in here, the training arcade. So when I come back to this, that's why I only have one option in here. But if I had multiple games, they would all be listed in here. I could search for them, and it's very easy just to insert that game right inside my training. Similarly, we can also add scenario VR files. So I have just the default scenario VR file here, the beach one that they use for the demos. So that will drop that in there. I did mention, so here, when you are editing, we have the standard font options here where I can create bulleted lists or numbered lists. You can create quotes. You saw Josh's really pretty one. He had, I'm sure he used all these little things up here, links. I did also want to demonstrate. Let me just pull up real quick. Let's see, we'll go to Wikipedia because I just want to show that it also works great for copying and pasting stuff. Copying and pasting stuff. So if I come in here and just grab that text, so if you already have documentation somewhere and you want to bring it in, and you want to bring it in here, I can just paste that right in, and it kept all the formatting from the Wikipedia page, including the links. If there have been bullets or, et cetera, in their headers, it would keep all that as well. So that saves you some steps in your copy paste when you're moving content from one platform to another. So now that we have a little bit more content in here, let's choose another language here. So if we look over at our translation panel here, it's letting me know that the Italian was translated, but it needs an update because we've added more content, and so it hasn't translated those yet. I'm going to hit edit, and I'm going to add another language in here. What other language would I like to speak? Let's go with some Chinese. So I will add that language. It pops up a thing here. It says translate now. I can click that. Also, whenever I go to publish, it would also translate that as well for me. But I went ahead and translated it now so that we can play with it here in a second. And I'm going to go ahead and publish this. I get a reminder that if I've already uploaded my SCORM package somewhere, I don't need to do that again. So that's great to know. Got it. And it's going to publish those changes out. So what that means is in just a minute or two, all you folks that are looking at the module that I linked to earlier, you can refresh that when this is done. You can refresh that and you will see all the changes that I just made, including our fancy new Chinese. So let me jump over. I will preview that here. And there's my Chinese. Look at how fast that was. I just translated this entire course to Chinese in just a couple of seconds. All right, I should look back at my list and see if I'm missing anything else I was supposed to be talking about here. We don't have time. 5 minutes. Oh no, what happened? Got too excited. All right. I will stop now so that we can handle any questions. Are there questions that came up?
We just had a question about sharing it with other people for review. Would the easiest way to do that be with like a SCORM Cloud link like you did today in the webinar?
It will work with our ELB's review link. So ELB has a review tool and it will work with that.
Perfect. Thank you. I think that's the only question we have right now.
I did want to, so another thing I mentioned is, so we're auto-generating some thumbnails here for you, but you can replace that with your own thumbnail in there. And then for translations, you get 1,000,000 characters. Yeah, I think it's 1,000,000 characters. Well, I'll have to check with the marketing and sales.
It is
But
1,000,000 characters.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. You get 1,000,000 characters in there, which is quite a bit, quite a bit. I've been telling people that's the length of The Great Gatsby. So it's you get a lot of translation for when you sign up. And then there is also an option if you find yourself doing the same layout a lot, you know, section head, content title, section head, content title, you can actually just make yourself a template and say, make this my default template. And that way you'll have that layout for you the next time you go to create one.